All right, Bobby Yaga here. Another trade review from this is from January 30th. And I forgot to start recording. It was Monday morning and just totally forgot to start recording. I think this was the only trade I took this day. um, and it took a lot of patience. You can see the entry was fairly tidy, up here around 33 to 30. I think the entry was actually 35, or 34. Ended up being able to take a nice 100-point runner into 34. Able to peel off some intermittently around 20 points, around 40 points, around let's see, what is that? 10, 20, 30, 40, around 50 points, around 60, 70 points, and around 100. So yielded quite a few points on this trade, and with very little heat, just a few points against entry. Not every trade is this clean, obviously, but this is a tidy trade that set up really well, and so I want to talk through it. So this is the trade. It was, again, I forgot to start recording. Executed in a different platform than Sierra, um, so yeah, just snagged a screenshot when I noticed that. But let's jump over to Sierra for this morning. So came into the OR, and if you've been around a while, you know that I love to trade the OR. I love to take the OR as directional, and to trade out to targets. I found that to be much more profitable than attempting to aggressively fade. The thing that will change that is if we have a key area of interest just above the OR. And for me, this day, if you go in the Discord, look at the weekly plan I put out. This area was a very interesting. We'd sold off through Sunday night session, finding no real buyers in this other area. A couple areas that I had that were interesting to me, and so the lack of buyers being present through Globex gapping down, we just had a lot of things pointing that direction. And then opening just below this key area of interest. Again, you can refer to the weekly plan from the week of the 30th, and take a look at the screenshots there. Wanted to see buyers get above this before entertaining really any longs. So I was on hands through the OR. Um, Luckily, did not get sucked into this situation because I had an area of interest kind of hanging out below. So we were kind of pinned. The OR was pinned. The cool thing about this is it kind of pre-tested this 64 area, which allowed me to have a little more confidence in trading back through the OR, anticipating this area not holding up a second time. We push up, and the first thing that caught my eyes, we found some real aggressive buyers here. So this blue candle would indicate greater than 300 positive delta. They were having to work really hard to push price up. Met with a very thick offer, peaked above it, pulled back. Um, a lot of times, I would trigger in on the other side of a candle like that. So we caught these aggressive sellers. This orange candle indicates greater than 300 negative sell delta. So aggressive buy, aggressive sell into an area of interest would normally trigger me in. What kept me on hands was the idea that, well, okay, let's just let this play out in the OR because we had a little consolidation here at the OR low, and let's see us break the OR low and retest it. So my anticipation was move down, back test, take a short, and then roll over. Well, we never did that. We pushed back up. We started to get a lot of larger orders in this block up here in this area of interest, and waiting on hands. Saw some sellers get aggressive, get nothing for it. Sellers tried to be aggressive, got stuffed at the OR. Still leaning towards the short idea. Remember, I wanted to see buyers capture this and back test it for a long, or get in a situation where I could short off of this down. And I kind of wanted to see more of a stumble. We got that here. we saw buyers step in again, super aggressive. And then these circles on the chart are market orders. So big market seller in the face of these buyers started to build some confidence that this could be a great short to take. Sellers again try to step on the gas down here, kind of get rolled up against. They find some buyers. And then this here was kind of like the one that did it for me. Aggressive market buyer over these market buyers or over this buy delta and still couldn't get through the offer. When I saw sellers step in, I pulled the trigger right in this area because I was able to risk off these highs. So really tight risk on this trade. I think 10 points was all I was risking. And you can see here on a 512 tick chart. This is 750 volume, but you can see I was executing on 512 tick. We get that situation playing out there. I take the trade there, stop just above the highs. Real lack of interest and kind of ledgy even from the sellers in this situation. And yeah, we really started to waterfall, which was nice. So for continuation, I wanted to see sellers get on the other side of where they had stepped up before, which they did beautifully. Pulled into OR low where we consolidated. We saw aggressive market buyer try to step in. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, we're fine on this trade. Aggressive sell, productive into another greater than 300 sell delta candle. Again, this 64 area of interest pre-tested, kind of, you could see some activity there, but ultimately rolled over and was able to see this trade drop 100 points pretty quick from 34 or 134 down to 034. And I think I exited out in here. This trade continued a little past that, and then we saw some reversion. But as far as speed and ease of entry, and then just confirmation in some of this stuff that I saw, this was a really easy trade to hold. It happened quick. I mean, 10 o'clock to 10:30 basically, and we were in and out. Again, I think on this trade I was in 6 lots, and I do the math on the number of points that was in there, but 175 to 25 to 65 to 85, probably 300 points taken on this trade. So great trade. Hopefully seeing that won't just make you think, wow, Baba, good job trading. We were talking through this in the chat, calling it out. A lot of people had the opportunity to take part in that, as well as doing these trade reviews. The goal would be that you begin to identify when we start to have this type of structure in an area of interest. And when I say this type of structure, I mean super aggressive, super aggressive, super aggressive, super aggressive. You can tell this area matters. And if we're leaning short based on where and how we opened, these can be week makers. Like, they can make your week. These are the type of trades you could take 2R on. Which I did not, but the goal of doing these reviews again would be that you begin to pick up on some of the nuance of what I'm looking at and how I'm executing, and that it helps you execute. And you might pick up one thing from this video that you really like, and you put it in your toolbox for future use. So hopefully you find this helpful, and we'll see you in the Discord. Thanks.